introduce. I don't think we're ready. Let's talk to Dalton.
Dalton, we good? Oh, do we gotta do the?
You do.
Okay. Welcome to Grid Knoxville. This is March, and we're gonna be talking about how to estimate renovations. Boom.
Boom.
Love it.
Love it.
Got the sizzle reel.
Perfect. Awesome. Welcome, everybody.
Hey, can we do this real fast? Can y'all ready to stand up real quick? Can we do a little selfie with you? Cory, get in here. Pretty please. We fed you. We gave you booze. If you don't feel like standing up, go get some of the booze. All right. 3, 2, 1. Say cheese.
Cheese.
Awesome. Thank you.
Buddy.
Cool. I appreciate you guys coming out.
Anything for the gram.
Yes. If it's not on the gram, did it even exist?
No.
Right? What if they'll show my Instagram feed at my funeral? All right. Who's speaking of Instagram feed? Who's got a win they want to celebrate?
No wins.
Yeah, don't.
Dan.
Dan, what do you got?
Dan, the hard money man.
So we've been working on trying to get this house under contract for like 6 weeks, and we finally got it under contract today. It's persistence, follow-up, and finally bent to my will and came down to our price.
I love it. Let's go,
Good
Dan.
stuff, buddy.
Let's go, Dan. Who's got a personal win? Any grid babies recently? No? Any other? You got a baby? When's your baby coming, Devin? August 16th. Devin's going to be a dad.
Buddy.
Our speaker. I love it. What? You got one? Second one due in June. What's your name? Tavis got a second. Awesome, man. That's why you're here. We got to make some money. Yeah. No, I got it. Fantastic.
No
Joey.
baby, no new baby yet, but my wife and I purchased our first primary in the state of Tennessee and moved in over the weekend.
Joey, the
Love
demo
that.
dude, bought his first thing. That's amazing, right? I love it. That's the first step to building wealth, right? Is controlling my primary and getting a nice 30-year fix, because it's the greatest invention in the history of finance. It's why we're all sitting here. The 30-year fixed mortgage is incredible.
Yeah, huge.
You got a win, Cory?
Yeah, I'm certainly proud of our sales team to go ahead and took 11 listings last month alone.
Garrett, Travis.
Yeah, shout out to those
We
guys.
can take
man.
all the
They've
credit.
really
They're
been-
outside.
Yeah, definitely.
It's all we.
100%. No, just really proud of them having the opportunity to work with 11 homeowners, 11 sellers this past month. That's huge for us. It's double our normal go, so that was really cool.
Last year, 70% of agents didn't sell any houses.
Sure.
Just throwing that out there. So yeah, no, that's amazing. I got one. We launched Grid in Raleigh.
Yeah, that's huge.
and I went out there, and just a reminder to like encourage people around us. The reason why no one is sharing their wins, because no one wants to be the person to like celebrate the small win. I hear this again and again and again, where I'm talking to someone that's a leader that's done 20 flips, that's sold over 200 houses, but acting like she's not a big deal. Like if you're in the room, only 12% of the population invest in real estate. Like you are on the right track. So just really excited to go out there, real incredible group of people. Like it's great seeing people take control of their financial destiny.
Yeah, just taking action, making it happen.
Yeah, man.
That's cool.
Who are you, Cory?
Cool. So, hi everybody. My name is Cory. I'm the co-host here of Grid Knoxville. I'm a managing partner for the Casa Knoxville real estate sales team that specializes really in residential small multifamily. So if you're ever in that need, we're certainly happy to help. And I've been an investor now since 2009. I started doing that as just a house hack, AKA roommates. Before that was just a fun term. Started that journey, had a restaurant business all through my 20s, and so my side hobby was flipping lots that I picked up at local auctions down in Florida. Used some of that cash that eventually moved my wife and I here about 7 years ago, and got into sales, and then been building the team out since then.
If you just came in, totally cool. We have 10 seats up here, so there's no reason to stand. We're gonna go till probably
Come
8.
be comfy, probably 8 o'clock.
So please
Come
grab
sit
a
down.
seat. Don't stand the whole time. We'd love to have you there. Like I see we'll get uncomfortable later because so I want to warn you. My name is Justin Myers. I am an investor. I am a real estate agent, and I am really passionate about connection. So I'm director of expansion for Grid nationally. I help us open new communities around the country, which is really exciting. And I started as a mortgage broker in 2005. So if you want to hear stories about the bad old days, I'm happy to tell you. I think, seen it all, tried it all, done it all, because I made lots of other people money for many, many years. So I got to do lots of things in the industry. I think I've had every possible job you could have, from being a mover to being a property manager to working auctions, residential, commercial, Fun story, we had a billboard, so we were out there on, the guy brought his trailer, and then we had ladders up on there, and then we were installing the billboard ourselves. Like, you do this long enough, you get to do some interesting
I'm sure
things.
OSHA would love that.
Yeah, well, OSHA doesn't. This is East Tennessee.
Yeah,
It's God's
true,
country. We don't need OSHA. Yes, cool. This diagram, if you're looking around, just a reminder, there is a sign. Is that sign right there? Did we put it up
somewhere.
inside here? Michael, is there a sign right in front of you? There's not a sign right in front of you. Can you grab the sign and put it right in front of Michael on that table?
Probably out front.
The deal triangle sign? It's in my trunk. No, it's not.
Or there's one out
four of them
front.
are out there out front. I brought them in. Thank you, though. Go grab them, bring it in there. Anyways, there is a color code to make it easy for you of who we are. So who has money today? Who brought some money to lend? Who's wearing a green name tag? Take a look around. Those are your money guys. Who's new today? Well, let's go back to that. We'll go back to the new people here. Cory, what else are we looking for?
Sure. So deal provider is yellow. These are your wholesalers, your bird dogs, referral partners. Who's got deals to share? Who's wearing yellow today?
Who are all my shy wholesalers? Who are all my shy? There's Kurt in the back.
Vince, raise your hand. I'm
Doesn't
calling
want
you
to
out
raise
right
his
now.
hand. I
Yeah,
can see his yellow tag. We will call you out here
100%.
if you haven't figured this out yet. Yeah, not a state deal? Fantastic.
Anybody buying in Tunica, Mississippi?
If you always wanted to own a home in luxurious Tunica, Mississippi, I know I did. Get with Vince afterwards. I'm sure it has amazing numbers, and that's why Vince is bringing it up, not the geography.
That's 100%.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, cool. Who provides services? Who's in the trades?
Yeah.
So I've met some painters tonight. I've met some contractors. I've met some GC, flooring guys, right? We've got a full gamut. Who's got a service I didn't mention that wants to jump up here? What's your service, Joey?
Demolition and junk removal.
Demolition and junk removal. Zach also, Done Right Holloway's got junk removal trailers. Yep. But you don't do demo, correct? You do demo?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, I didn't know that. All right.
Fight.
We got this table right here. They are going to be arm
Wrestling later on. Yeah, for sure.
Sick.
That's cool. Who else?
When
Who
Joey
else is
turns
in
his
there?
hat around, he becomes a machine. Serious. Love it.
Love it.
Print,
Okay.
mail, and graphics.
So your mailers,
if you
graphics.
need to do
and
some mailers, or you need, yes. I love it.
That's cool. Love that. Very cool.
Fantastic. We have any tax professionals in the room tonight? It's about tax season about to come up. No, they're all
They're
working.
working,
all-
chained to a
That's
desk
good.
right now.
That's probably a good sign. If they were here, it might not be the
Yeah.
person to hire to do your tax.
Yeah, 100%.
Got a brand new tax professional. No, I love it. And who's our beginners tonight? Who's
Yeah,
brand new?
who's our new? Love it.
Awesome.
Welcome.
Welcome.
You're in the right room.
We are so glad you're here. If you're brand new, please don't leave without talking to one of us. Like, we want to meet you. This is a real community, right? We want to help you make friends, so everyone's included in here, because this game is a lot easier when you make friends, and it really is that simple as you make friends with good people, and then they help you with advice, resources, collaboration, mentorship. We're talking about how to estimate renovations.
Yeah.
You ever make some mistakes, Cory, that might be useful for somebody to hear about?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody make some
100%.
mistakes estimating renovations? Yeah, like you might want to grab these folks and hear a story before you have one of the stories of your own.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I love it, dude.
So.
Ooh, what are we giving away, Cory?
Yeah, a couple giveaways. So we got we got all kinds of fun stuff. We got shirts, we got hats, I got cups and koozies as well.
Wait,
to
you
give
want to
away.
grab the estimating rehab and that great investor thing?
Yeah,
Look
we're
out
gonna
for
be giving
stuff.
we're gonna be
Thank you,
giving
Lee.
one of those as well.
Lee is our Vanna White.
Yeah, you're doing great, Lee.
I'm dating
Thank you so
myself
much.
if people don't know who Vanna White is. Carolyn,
Yeah.
she was on Vanna White used to be on a TV show.
Yeah.
All right, so who traveled the farthest?
Who thinks they traveled the farthest? We've had people from Italy, Chattanooga. It doesn't have to be like that dramatic, right? I mean, but like who thinks they actually traveled
Anybody
the
from
farthest?
Tunica, Mississippi? Yeah. Who doesn't want to talk? Who came to a network meeting but doesn't want to network?
Perfect.
Who traveled the farthest?
I just started Alcoa.
Alcoa.
Okay.
Anybody travel farther away from Alcoa? Carolyn? Kingston.
Kingston.
Awesome.
All right.
France. France. I'm going to give it to you this time, but you're not going to be eligible next time. Yes, fantastic. You want a book or do you want a...
Book, shirt, hat.
The book? Come on up.
Do it.
Come on down. All you have to do is walk up here, smile, turn around, look at the camera. This is your notice. We are going to be filming and photographing you. Be warned.
Perfect.
I love it. Thank you, Hugo. Yes. Awesome. Cory, who's next?
Yeah, cool. Let's shout out to some newbies a little bit there. Who's done their first deal in the last 60 days?
Let's go. Nino, what'd you do?
Yeah, tell us about it.
Come on up. Let's hear about it. So we're going to be doing, to make this easier, because we've got a huge crowd, if you have a question, come on up here. Everyone wants to hear it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nino. Tell us what you did.
Closed business on a light commercial remodel. What I do is I provide estimating, project management services and consulting. I provide established embedded contractors to local customers that need them.
Awesome. So this is your first new venture?
Yeah, I started in January.
Dude, congratulations.
Congrats.
What do we got for him? That sounds like thirsty work.
Yeah, book, sure.
Yeah, you already know how to
Yeah.
estimate. He doesn't need the book.
You got it. That's
He doesn't
right.
need the book. I love it. Hey, Nino, come right here. We're gonna pose for the gram. We're gonna tag you. You got us.
Reliable remodeling solutions.
Awesome. All right, who's next, Cory?
Perfect. No, so the last part, this is, again, collaborative, right? The best way to actually find opportunities and deals is tell the people that you know that you're interested in investing in real estate. So we always ask everybody, go ahead, tag us. Take a selfie, take a picture, tag us online, # Knoxville, Facebook, Instagram. We'll be checking back here towards the end and doing some giveaways towards the end.
Awesome. So we had a talk with a guy, Mailbox Money B, if you want to follow him on Instagram, Brandon Bittenham. Brandon sells 800 houses a year. He manages 1,700 doors. He's got 17 entities. Really, really cool. He was just walking through us like high-level leadership, like how you run all this. He's got like a 40,000 square foot warehouse in Maryland where he's running all these operations, right? And Brandon's #1 lead source is organic, free social media, and he is literally one of the best marketers in the country. Go watch him. Amazing hooks. Organic, free social media. So, it's Mailbox Money B on Instagram. Is it Bittingham? Bittingham, yeah, Brandon Bittingham. Great guy. Really, really, really cool. Coming for contribution.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay, important. Why don't you do the memorandum?
Sure.
got
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Really quick. So just quick disclaimer here. I mean, the state of Tennessee certainly likes for us to always like stay in our lane. So in that, we're just going to say always trust but verify. And right, we're all here to talk. We've all got different experiences, different, I don't know, frameworks to view things through, et cetera.
Yeah.
You're always good at it.
No, I'm fine with this. Like, so we're not tax professionals. We are not surveyors. We're not appraisers, right? We can't give you legal counsel, nor can any other agent in here, right? What we can do is we're experts on marketing real estate, and we're experts on facilitating a conversation. So we're going to bring some contractors up here, right? We're going to have a little debate about whether Cory's numbers that he hits consistently are realistic, or maybe you want to go some contractor numbers if you're not doing this yourself.
Fair.
You can lose money investing in real estate. So if you cannot afford to have that money tied up, you should maybe not be investing in real estate.
Simple as that. Don't sue me, bro.
Yeah. Awesome. What is Grid, Cory?
Yeah, so Grid, right? This is it. We're a global real estate investing community that we like to bring to a hyper-local level through networking and meetups just like this. We always like to say we're not gurus. I'm not here to just be on stage, pontificate on high. We're just real people doing real deals in real time, here to share our experiences with you, and we trust that you're going to be sharing your experiences with everybody else in the room because we know that collaboration is key and we can all learn and grow together.
And so our mission is to help people get financially free. We want to connect, we want to learn from you. If you are brand new, we want you to come in here, learn enough to get comfortable transacting. If you are super experienced and you've got deep pockets and you've done this 100 times, awesome. We'd love to do a deal with you. Holler at us. Like, let's do some business together. We believe that the path to financial freedom that is still available, that is still real for the middle class in this country is real estate ownership and small business ownership. We're passionate about that. We've got a ton of resources to do that. And if you ever want to talk to us, we're happy to take you on the journey that we've been on because we're on that same journey ourselves. We want to take as many people as possible through that. That is why we are running Grid, right? And along the way, what we have found is by being awesome, cool people giving back is a pretty good business strategy. Like, try it. It works pretty well. So,
That's right. Yep. So is that in that We welcome everybody at all levels. Again, we're not here to be gurus, right? I'm just going to be sharing our experiences with you. We're trusting that you're all going to be sharing your experiences with us because we're all lifelong learners at the end of the day.
Awesome. Who came here with a specific question they really want to get answered before the end of the evening? Man, I love this. This is the easiest crowd
Easy
ever.
enough.
No
Here's it.
expectations.
Go.
Eric,
I was
What's that?
gonna ask you later.
You need a lender?
No, I was gonna ask you later.
Perfect.
Follow up on a phone conversation.
Okay.
all right, fantastic.
I got a specific
Is it
question.
Tavis or Tavis?
Tavis.
Tavis, cool. Tavis.
I'm looking for a new primary residence, around 3,000 square feet, heavy fixer-upper, a lane that I can build one on, so if anybody has one, I'd really appreciate
What area?
it. 30 minutes, a printing image, and beard.
Okay.
30 minutes from Bearden, 3,000 square feet, heavy fixer-upper. I love that. Thank you for asking a specific question. We got a whole room full of people that I think could make that happen.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So,
Good specific ask.
yes, for Tavis.
That will stick out.
He'll look you up with a sweet discount on some printing if you find him some slick house.
I'm ready.
Yes, Robert.
In your expert opinion, what's a better route to go? New construction or a major fixer-upper in good area?
In my expert opinion, what's a better route to go? New construction or a major fixer-upper? So before the end of that thing, I'm going to give you my answer. But let's look around real fast. Who thinks new construction? Who's team new construction? Who's major fixer-upper? In a good area?
I think it all depends on the deal.
Yeah.
What'd you buy
I'm
it
going to
for,
say, for me, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'll tell you my opinion when we get done talking about how to estimate renovations. Yeah, but I'll make sure you have a real answer to that. Yeah, Jason.
I might be jumping ahead on this since it's, we're talking about estimating fixer-uppers, but with a lot of the unknown with cost of materials rising and unknown with tariffs and all that coming in because, obviously assessing a project like that, how do you start to factor that in?
How do we factor in?
The unknown?
Well, you factor
How
in
do I factor in the unknown of tariffs, factors rising, renovations?
cost of materials rising when you're looking.
How do I
at,
factor in
say,
the future cost of materials?
Yeah, when you say it's 6 months out.
Okay.
And there's a lot of unknown variables right
Cool.
now with the current environment.
Okay.
So how do I factor in the future cost of materials? Got it. Cool. That's a great question. Anybody else got a question they want answered tonight? I love this. All right. Cool. Quiet crowd, Cory. I want to go do some crowd work. This is fascinating. Okay. This is an interactive show, y'all. If you haven't, we're like Carrot Top up in here. Like we do interact with the crowd.
Yeah.
We can see you. We'll come talk to you. All right. What do we believe, Cory?
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly, this room right here is a good example of that. Your network is your net worth. So investing in yourself, your people will always generate. Leadership is something that really matters in this. It all really starts with personal leadership and personal development. If you have to start there in order to be able to leading and impacting others, we're big believers in that.
We believe that knowledge, connection, and resources are found at a local level, right? None of us know what the feels like in Tunica, Mississippi, but we all know what's happening in our backyard. We know what a good neighborhood is, right? We got a good idea for those. And we believe the reason you're doing this, right, is to have freedom of time, finances, right? The goal of all of everything we're doing here is to get, how can I have more passive income than my household expenses? That's it. That's it. It's not to get you can get wildly rich and lose a lot of money. We have seen lots of people doing it. I talked to someone yesterday that lost $400,000, because they didn't build slow and steady and slow and steady.
Just tried to cut to
Yeah.
just jump to the front.
So together, Cory, what do you think we do?
Yeah, together we can always achieve more than we can do alone. You can certainly go fast by yourself, but you can definitely go further together.
Ready to get started?
I do.
Yeah,
Yes,
cool.
most definitely.
So we got some special guests tonight. We'll bring them up here. Cory, what do you currently do to figure out what a property's worth?
I don't know why that did that. Oh, there we go. Sorry. Yeah, so figuring out what a property is really worth. If you're not a real estate agent, go talk to one. Talk to somebody that's really boots on the ground, that has a good finger on the pulse of the market, what's actually happening in the geographic area that you're really looking. Because certainly in real estate, a lot of things is just location, location, location. So the answer can be just, it depends.
I'm going to give you an example. I went out to Clinton on a listing appointment last week. There was a sale in there that one of the properties that had sold, it sold for $327,000, and it had an appraisal. The appraisal uploaded, I can see it on the MLS, is $325,000. One of the comps in the neighborhood is $310,000. Anybody ever bought a property at auction? No? Anybody know what buyer's premium is? 10%. What's your name? Lisa. Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Lisa. Hey, Shannon, they got 2 seats right there for you. Come on up front, okay? Don't be shy, the water's fine. You want to know until you get in? So $310,000. But when you buy a property at auction, there is a buyer's premium. You know this, Cory, with the buyer's premium?
For sure.
Of 10%.
10%.
You pay out of your pocket. So that means they brought $30,000 to the table. So you tell me, is that comp 310 or is it 340? 340? 340. They're willing to pay 340, right? Yeah. So that's why I don't rely on Redfin. I don't rely on Zillow. It's really complicated. Like Cory and I go look it up and call another agent and ask them what the deal is. And like that's how you know what's actually happening.
Yeah.
In
Was
a
there
neighborhood.
concessions? Was there credits? Was there, any
Yeah.
other kind of variables that'll impact that?
Now, if you don't have access to realtors, don't like realtors, don't, no problem. Like, there's tons of them here. What might you do, Cory, to determine value of a property?
Man, talk to an appraiser, maybe your next person to reach out to.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
At least try to see if they're familiar with any particular, geographic area you're looking at or would be able to carve out.
Ironically, we love experts, even though we're going to teach you all like to be self-actualized because we know how to determine what experts to listen to. So like if you got the right experts are amazing. If you don't know to listen to, they could kind of screw you over. But an appraiser is a great source. I could look at tax records. I could certainly go on Zillow or Redfin and look up sold comps in the area and look at photos inside and get an idea. Those are all ways I could determine an after repair value.
Sure.
But if I was going to be investing some serious money in it, I might want to just talk to somebody that could give me a real value if $20,000 or $30,000 of my money is riding on accurately estimating the value of a property. I know we're stating the obvious, but like, how many people have we met that have lost money because they didn't know the ARV of a property?
100%. Oh yeah, plenty.
Tons.
Tons,
So,
for sure. So critical skill for sure in this. We're all about like frameworks in what we talk about. And so really what we're talking about here is the 70% rule. Who's ever heard of the 70% rule before? Awesome, cool. So good mix people, some people that have
Rashid, what's the 70% rule?
70% is you get your ARV, you multiply.
I love it. Put them on the spot.
You get your ARV.
My after repair value.
Yep.
Yep.
And you comps, and then you multiply by 70, and then you subtract your rehab, and then what is left over should be a good. I cut it 20 grand under that.
There you go.
Blow bump.
How many doors do you have now, Rashid?
I think like 18 now.
18.
I'm 3 under contract.
Okay.
Contract because I'm on last week.
Yeah.
Congrats, dude. That's awesome.
No, it's the power's in the network. There's a lot of, collectively, we know a lot more than just one or two, right?
100%.
So if you've got something to share, please jump in here. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's it.
Nailed it. 70% of that after repair value minus the cost of repairs equals your max allowable offer. If you could be like Rashid, just undercut that by another 20 grand. Now you got a little, either an extra margin or you got some room to negotiate. Maybe you set a low anchor, but your max allowable offer is your max allowable offer.
Right? But that only works if I actually know my ARV, right? If my ARV is off by 20%, could I see why the deal would mess up? Say yes. Yes.
Yes.
And if I don't know how to estimate renovations, anybody lost money because they didn't estimate renovations properly?
Close.
Okay.
Real close.
I got it. Everyone else either hasn't done a deal yet or just doesn't want to share.
They're just wizards, or they're just wizards at just nailing it.
All right, so
Yeah.
boom. So this is some specific ways to do this. Let's talk about if I am looking at comps in the area. Cool. So I go on Zillow, right, Cory?
Sure.
And I just like figure out the price per square foot of like this estimate and then just like adjust that, right?
Yeah, if only it was that easy of just looking at like a price per square foot metric and thinking that was gonna solve everything.
Why not, dude? That's something we estimate everything. Just like price per square foot should sell for exactly the
No,
same thing.
because certainly you're going to have some different valuations. Whether something's, say, a basement space typically is not valued at the same valuation as something that's on like a main level, and we really can't be comparing two completely different property types in that. If your subject property is a ranch house, let's not compare it against split foyers or 2 stories or I don't know, a mobile home like down the road. Like we're really trying to find as like kind as possible of what's realistically going to show up on an appraiser's report.
Hey, Flint, can I put you on the spot?
Come on up here for a second. This is one of our sponsors. If you need some private money, Flint and his brother run, Approach Lending. How do you determine after repair value? Do you just,
If it's Knoxville or a tertiary market in Knoxville, we'll use brokers that we have close relationships with and a lot of faith in. If it's out of state, we use primarily a company called Richer Values. And they have various types of reports that they can run. They're somewhat expensive, generally about $450 each. I will tell you, they just launched a new product that's AI driven. It's only $35. Doesn't have as much human interaction with the Richer Values team as far as evaluating which comps to use, but it's very inexpensive. We're getting data from Richer Values now as far as everything that they do is algorithm driven plus people driven, and so they're really good. And I think that this AI product they have is going to be good as well. We've started testing it, comparing it. We're just paying for it out of pocket, and I'll report back to you guys. But it could be a good resource for you guys, particularly if you're looking at a market where you have a hard time finding a broker that you like or trust.
yeah. What was the name of that again?
Flint, what was the name of the service?
Richer Values. They're nationwide.
Richer Values.
It's a large company, and they're very good.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Flint will be here if you've got some questions. They are an incredible private money partner to work with, right? So if we are looking for here today because I want to do flips, that is a money solution for you right there, because a traditional lender is not going to typically lend you the money on the front end
No.
unless you're doing like a purchase rehab loan or something. I don't know if Morgan's here tonight. Talking about weird loans. There's some projects out there.
Yeah, no doubt.
So
No doubt.
what are the easiest and best comps to use? Like, if I'm looking at comps, I'm doing it myself. Like,
Yeah.
how do I comp a house?
Yeah, so again, you're looking for similar housing type, similar neighborhood, ideally within the same neighborhood.
So similar housing types. So a manufactured is not the same as a ranch.
Correct.
A ranch is not the same as a two-story. A split level is not the same as a ranch. Does that make sense? Gotcha, cool.
Yep, absolutely. Same school district is another good filter you can use. I mean, typically you'll see your middle schools and high schools can kind of funnel that, but high school gets a little bit more broad, because if I think of like how many areas, say Bearden High, like funnel ultimately to Bearden High, is
It
a
is-
bigger
it is a wide
geographic
range.
area versus like an elementary school, like around the corner is like Bluegrass, but there's like Bluegrass Elementary and then North Shore, right? And then AL Lots, like just kind of in this immediate proximity here. Each of those elementary schools, like the immediate areas around that, have different valuations. Like they're going to be influential. Like elementary school might even be the most like micro way to like filter that. Obviously, without just doing like a half a mile like literal radius around a house or that kind of thing.
Same and similar neighborhood. Anybody like to invest in East Knoxville? Anybody know where Park Ridge is here, right? So Park Ridge is a historic neighborhood. It's they got homes that are on the historic registry. They're historically protected, right? And so it's that area between Magnolia and the interstate, and in between Hall of Fame, well, really 6th Avenue and Cherry Street. On the other side is Park City, and on the other side, like, there's definitely a divide, right? There's definitely a divide. So when I'm looking at similar neighborhoods, it's not always proximity, right? I want to start within a mile preferably, but I want to make sure, am I looking at something where the homes are the same type, area, lot size, et cetera, like I'm looking at comps.
Sure. Yeah.
And then recently sold. How recently do you like to look, Cory?
90 days is ideal. Really no further back than
Because the market has been turning so fast.
market just
right?
changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, some people could say like 6 months. I think that's just a little bit further back than I normally want to go. I mean, really, I want to be within 90 days to like today is what I'm looking for.
Now, if you go talk to an appraiser is going to go by the Uniform Standards and Principles of Appraisal Practices, USPAP, right? That's what they're doing. So it's going to be, they're going to start within 20% of your square footage range. They would prefer to be in a half a mile, but they'll go up to a mile. They're going to look at neighborhood comps before they don't look at neighborhood comps. They are looking for similar bedrooms, okay? And they'll go 6 months. They can go longer. Sometimes you need to. They can go up to a year, but that's because of the absence of comps, not because they want to ignore the comps that recently sold. So like, unfortunately, if the neighbor just fire sold a property because they were in a nasty divorce, that affected your property value.
Yeah.
Like, that is a comp that the appraiser is going to have to take into consideration, so just be aware of that. And the reason we're saying 90 days is because the speed of the market, right? Like, how fast is the inventory turning over? What's the average age of the market right
That's
now?
right.
Cory?
Yeah, right now, Knox County is So sitting right at a month for them. So we've slowed up comparative to where we were previously. I mean, in some areas, again, this is where it helps to really just talk with a real estate agent. Like knowing certain like micro markets around, like I was just running some numbers for 37917, for example. That's North Knoxville, for those who don't know zip codes. And those median days on market have tripled since November. Went from 20 median days on market.
What's median versus average?
Yeah, so that's that just direct middle versus taking like an average, because an average can be swayed by the home that's just asking way too much and it's been sold for 2 years now and like never moved.
Average
It's
can be
gonna
pulled by an outlier.
That's right.
And the median is going to be, if we lined everybody up in here from tallest to shortest, the median would be the person that's exactly the middle height. So when we see median, that means that half of the days on the market are selling like up to that median. Make sense?
Yeah.
And I like to explain that because we use it all the time and have time people.
Yeah,
the
it's
hiring
it's
agents
one
that
of
don't
my
know it.
favorite like metrics to really like go off of if you want to look at like speed of the market
Mm-hmm.
in that.
And you prefer median over average?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure, because it is just that middle. Average can be pulled by the outlier that's been asking way too much for way too long and is never going to get what they're
But
after.
even median can mislead you, right? If I look
Mm-hmm.
at median, right? So the median price in Knoxville has really changed dramatically.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't mean that your home has changed as dramatically, right? It means that the homes that are selling have changed dramatically. Does that make sense? So like, if interest rates go up and the median dropped or something, right? Because people could afford less, it wouldn't necessarily affect the price in your neighborhood, but it might mean that more people now are buying in like Lenore City or something because like that is their price point. Does that make sense? So I think median, some of these statistics can be misleading, like, and there's an over reliance on data because we all have access to data and we all like to feel smart and like that we understand everything. And so I've just noticed like median can be a little misleading. It's not the same as like what's happening on individual properties.
Sure. Yeah, that's a fair statement. And
Yep.
and in that, to your point, like we really can't predict the future. All right, I've got a magic 8 ball under my seat of my car. Like that's about as good as it's going to get at the end of the day, right? Like you can take into certain factors that going in. We can all hyperfixate on the news. We can try to look at things to try to like forecast out that could affect it.
Sure.
You want to obviously like not completely like ignore it.
Would it be cool if we talk, do you want to talk about like lead indicators and lag indicators and how you can predict where the market is going real fast? Does anybody want to hear that? Okay. Cool. Fantastic. Cory, what's a lead indicator of the market? What tells you where the market is headed?
Leading indicators can be things like mortgage application data, how many people are applying for loans, because then they're going to start to filter into the market. So that's
Does that make sense? So if like mortgage applications go down now, then less people are going to be buying in the next 90 days to 6 months. Is that really 90 days because if we're looking at the purchase cycle, right? So that's a leading indicator on the front end. What's a lagging indicator?
Yeah, lagging indicator is going to be actually like those sales. If I'm looking at
Sure.
like when they actually sell, or I'm looking at, say, our data comes out on the 1st of every month, and I'm looking at February sales data. Well, that's lagging data because those are actually homes that went under contract in January that go through a typical 30-day sales cycle to close in February. So I'm looking at lagging data in that instance. So you have to be able to discern between that and sort of read between the data.
So I would say other leading indicators for an area, I could look at like jobs. If Axel Logistics expands their location and they've got 300 new jobs, that is a leading indicator, right? That people are going to need housing. If Buc-ee's comes in here and they're paying $20 an hour, maybe I can start buying in Strawberry Plains because I know they can afford the places I'm going to rent. That'd be a leading indicator on the front end of what's happening. The stadium rejuvenation, those are leading indicators. The demand that we see coming here, like the projected demand, is going to be a leading indicator.
Yeah, massive.
Yeah.
For sure.
And the one thing I would watch if you're a bear, is watch layoffs. Layoffs affect home prices. All this other stuff really doesn't affect home prices. Who in here has a mortgage under 5%? You selling that to go rent in this market? Are you getting a roommate? Is mama moving in? You're going to hold on to that, right? The only way you're not holding on to that would be if like you lost your job and you were unable to hold on to it, and then you would sell it. That actually is going to directly show up in like increasing the amount of inventory. Does that make sense? But all this other stuff, it's monopoly money. Who cares? The reason people are just sitting. If you look at the amount of equity people have in this country
Yeah,
and the interest rates they have, most people are doing fantastic. They're in fixed rate mortgages. Like, they're gonna be fine.
Yeah,
Like,
they're gonna be fine.
the call is not coming from inside the house. It's, if something blows up in the economy, it's not gonna be the housing market. It's gonna be something else, like affecting the housing market, not Wall Street turning the housing market into a casino.
Sure.
All right. Supply, seasonality, anything you wanna
Yep.
talk about there, Cory?
Yeah, I mean, just when we are looking at some future things to kind of look at, seasonality can certainly be one thing. If you're picking up a project now and it's going to take you 6 months to complete, well, now we're looking into the fall potentially of having that property on the market, and how fast you're getting that done could it indicate, like, are you going to be selling in Q4, or are we going to be kind of catching the tail end of the summer and where you can actually, where there's typically higher activity in the market, like more people are buying? Because once the holidays comes, not that homes don't sell, homes sell every single day.
Kristen Wallace, I have a question for you in a second. K-Dub, Kristen, I have a question. How are rents doing? Are they stabilizing? Are they still going up? Are they going down?
Okay.
So rents are softer. Some of the larger homes are still sitting a bit. But is that maybe because the homeowners haven't adjusted their expectations on prices yet? Or is that because they're still asking high rents? Okay, so anything under 2,000 is still flying off the shelves. Okay. Who feels optimistic about the market? Who feels pessimistic? Who thinks things are not going well? Greg, you feel pessimistic. What's going to happen?
Somebody's got to do it.
What's that?
I got a few clips that are getting ready to list, so we'll see.
Okay. If you're feeling you're feeling pessimistic about the market, the bottom's about to drop out. So while he's eating a cookie, so that's a real pessimist. I love it.
Yeah, just push it way down. Travis.
I was doing some research on Oak Ridge.
Travis, come up here. Yep. Right over here. You're on the team, so I can make you. I want to hear about your research in Oak Ridge. Oh. Right here, sir. You don't want to stand up on the stage, actually, so we can see you.
Come on, buddy.
Finally the tallest.
So this is what it feels like. So yeah, I did some research just last night actually on just Oak Ridge in general for the rental, and the vacancy rate in Oak Ridge right now is over 11%, and the home values have only increased like 2.5. So the Oak Ridge market is not necessarily the Knoxville market. So there's some differences there. Now it seems to be the midterm rental market has a little bit more push than the long-term rental overall in that area. So
I love it.
What do you mean by push?
like it just there's more demand it seems, or it's more attractive, and it may be because of the contractors coming and going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people getting relocated to work in Oak Ridge. Let me go do a midterm rental for 3 to 6 months and figure out where I want to live before I go buy something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the midterm rental play at Oak Ridge is really strong. Sean. I can't hear you from back there. Come on up here. Sean's been on stage before, so I love it.
I can tell you the CoStar report for December multifamily, the average rent went down 0.9%. So
Bottom is falling out.
Knoxville MSA for commercial multifamily.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's 1 month.
Does that include incentives if somebody's throwing in a free month's rent, or?
So Dan's asking, does that include incentives and what I'm going to do if I can is pause that just for a second because I want to get to the renovations, but that's a good question. We're going to come back to it.
I honestly can't answer it. That's a good question. I don't know how they figure that. It's
Yeah.
a good question. I'll try.
That would be a good question because maybe there's some seasonality and they're doing that. Dan is also another property manager. So here's one thing to keep in mind. We have been going 80 down the highway. So when we slam on the brakes and we're doing 45, we are still doing 45. We are in one of the strongest appreciation markets in the country. Knoxville had some of the most insane rent growth in the country. We were 30% in one quarter, okay, back a couple years ago. So there's only like so much room to keep increasing percentage-wise. So keep that in mind when we're looking at percentages. Like when the inventory doubles, it sounds really shocking till you find out we had 1 month of inventory, and 6 months is a balanced market. Like percentages can be.
Yeah, it can skew, it can sound, or it can be just manipulated.
Sure,
so.
but on the multifamily side,
Yeah,
there's
that's a
certainly
fair
going to
point.
be stuff because there is tons of multifamily coming to Knoxville.
Oh, yeah.
That is a different market than my single family market.
Yeah,
but it's going to
absolutely.
affect it. Cool. All right, so.
Yeah, so things we look at. You can buzz through some of these. I mean, we've already touched on them there.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it, but you're watching months of supply in my market. I'm watching days on market, right? If I'm looking at like how much supply we actually have, we are still in a low inventory market. We just were in a desert. We were wandering in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights for the last 5 years, and now we're starting to get back to a couple months of inventory.
Some sense of normalcy.
Yes.
Yep,
All right.
seasonality.
Growth and development. You think growth and development is affecting Knoxville?
Absolutely.
No, maybe just a little, small.
Small bit.
Billions of dollars being spent on development right now. Oak Ridge, right, is expanding. They've got 7,500 jobs. They're working on building like a small scale nuclear plant for all that for all the AI devices. Like there's a lot of growth coming in Oak Ridge. Oak Ridge has $4 billion in spending a year slushes through Oak Ridge. Like keep that in mind.
Yeah, wow.
Yep. Political and economic factors, right? We all in the pulse of the market. Boom, boom, boom. So I like this, right, Cory?
Yeah, just investors are optimistic by nature. And it's wonderful, but you can't renovate your way out of a bad market or a bad neighborhood or just a bad deal.
Yes, yes. Like,
If Oak Ridge got all this money to develop these new things and people are moving in, how come it's not reflected in what the gentleman just said?
would you live in Oak Ridge? Do you want to go live in Oak Ridge?
I just moved here from Vegas.
Fantastic. People live in Hardin Valley. Like, does anybody live in Oak Ridge? Awesome. Anybody want to move to Oak Ridge?
What's so bad about Oak Ridge?
Nothing is terrible about Oak Ridge. If you look at the housing stock, there's a lot of like Semesto houses that the government built, like that are just weird, you know, like
It's
if you
just
look into that.
That's
And
old housing stock.
I could live in Oak Ridge, or like there's no commercial in Oak Ridge. When Turkey Creek came here, it killed Oak Ridge. Like my ex-wife and all of her siblings, their first job was at Tinseltown out there. So I remember like when that was a mall, we would go hang out there when I was in my 20s. Like there's not a lot there. And there's just other options. You can go live in Hardin Valley and be close to all this and commute, or I could be in Clinton. And just like the multifamily out there is not just a lot of older housing stock.
Yeah, I mean.
And property taxes are higher out there
that's the big
because
one.
of the collapsing commercial base. So, did I miss anything about Oak Ridge?
Lance.
Lance?
Plans for future airport.
Plans for a future airport in Oak Ridge?
Yes, there is.
Interesting.
It's out on what, like the west side, like towards Kingston, or is it the opposite way, like out towards? There we go.
I love it.
Joey's listening.
Joey says leading indicator. Leading indicator. So is that a private airport?
No, it's going to be a real airport to increase tourism, and it's on their webpage. But apparently, as of just a couple weeks ago, they had to pivot from the site that they were originally looking at to for a new site. So apparently, the site that they were looking at, it didn't pan out.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
let's jump to renovations, which y'all came here and how to estimate
Yeah.
renovations. You know, and honestly, like my advice on this is don't ask us. Like just drive around. Like if you drive through, you'll get a feel for like how desirable the area is. There's just like the retail's not great. Not a lot of places to eat. The Waffle House is okay, but I don't know where else I want to eat there. The Panda
That's true.
Express.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a really good Mexican
Yeah.
spot. Oh, and they got Dutch Bros. It's coming. It's coming. So,
Yeah. I can.
let's run through these and we'll get our guests on stage.
Yeah, 100%. So really just kind of set the stage as we're going to be diving into these frameworks. We want to really look at it here as like, honestly, we just don't have the time or desire to run all the way across town, look at something over, drag a contractor along, nor do they want to be drug along to do a full scope of work on a home that you're not even going to buy, right? We're really going to be talking about here just some simple tools and a framework that can be used for when you're analyzing properties, we're looking at deals. What we're going to talk about today is that framework. We're going to look and see kind of what is this price per square foot variance in these levels to it. And the goal of it being that we can all come together with our collective hive mind here, and we can either agree, like, is that right on? Does that need to be adjusted in some kind of way? Just so that we're all speaking the same language for like the whole of next year. So I've reached out to probably every out-of-state wholesaler I know to watch the live stream here, because I know when they're sending deals to us and they're saying it's $15,000 in rehab, but the ceiling is in the dirt of the living room, I can tell you that's not 15 grand. It's going to be about like 3, 4, 5x that number, right? So the goal being, again, that we're all able to speak the same language on like what these levels of renovation are.
Yeah. Make sense? Fair enough? Awesome.
Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. So, assumptions. It should never go without saying. Always, always, always do your due diligence. Have a home inspection. Have somebody else look it over. Do not just go buy a property completely.
How many stories have you heard about someone who lost money and just shockingly they didn't get an inspection?
Plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's like maybe get an inspection, you know? So what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Because if I want to get good at this and I want to become a professional investor, I should be looking at a lot of deals. I should be looking at as many deals as possible. So I've got to learn how to prioritize my time, right? What we're talking about is opportunity cost. While you're out looking at a dog, you're missing the deal you should be looking at, right? That's what it is. Like whenever I say yes to one thing, I'm saying no to everything else. Opportunity cost is one of the biggest things that are going to affect you, like as you go, because the game we're playing is compounding returns, right? There's some books over there. One of the books is on that table out front is The Lifestyle Investor. Anyone read The Lifestyle Investor? Yes. Parker, you read it. What's the big takeaway from The Lifestyle Investor that you had?
A big one?
Yes, sir.
Not to put you on. No, yeah. His deals are so comprehensive. I think that's probably one of the most shocking parts of the book.
I love it.
It's like he goes in deep detail. So like I feel like there's a lot of books that will kind of like give you surface level stuff, but he actually really talks about the logistics of a deal and what it actually.
That's true. It is a very detailed deal. The big takeaway I take from that is he talks about speed of capital. It's how fast am I redeploying my capital, right? Man, if I could find stuff that I can get in and out of in 4 months and do that 3 times a year, maybe I'm taking smaller returns, but I'm doing it 3 times a year, and you're swinging for home runs every 9 months. Mm-hmm. It's compounding returns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, time to introduce some special guests.
Well, yeah, let's take a look at.
Yeah,
for sure.
We'll get them on stage. Devin, Nathan, come on down.
Let's give him a hand.
Come on down. To Between Two Ferns.
How do we turn this thing on?
What's that?
How do you turn this thing on?
Push the button here. Let's see.
There's 3.
Here.
You keep pressing buttons till it turns on.
All right, I got you. I got it.
You're on. You're green.
Scoot everything that way?
Heard.
Cool. Scoot this way so we get between the.
Oh, God.
Oh, my gosh. There we go. Right there.
It's like between two ferns.
How's that? All right. So we've got a couple of contractors here right after Joey and Zach arm wrestle. Devin and Nathan are gonna go after it. So I'll introduce Devin first and you can introduce Nathan. So Devin, who are you? Why are you up here?
All right. So my name is Devin. I've been here for 2 years, just September. I am a contractor and an investor, and I consult for those people who want some help but don't need my actual help all the way to the end. I started my first flip here in Powell. Loved it, learned a lot, got hurt a lot. But after that, you shake it off and you find your next good deal. It's just like golf. You have one good hole, you're back in it. You don't, you're gonna cry for the next couple holes. But I think the trick to a lot of the stuff that we're gonna talk about is creating your team, and that goes from finding the deal, selling the deal, and building the renovation team behind you or the expertise. Otherwise, with that team, you're earning a lot of this stuff that you were saving 30 years of hardship for because someone's a professional in what they're doing. And I think that's a big part of it. So for the newbies, that's my best advice for me being here in this market for 2 years. Long Island was very similar to that. That's where I'm from. And Knoxville is going through the exact same transition that I left, but I was too young for it. So this is the perfect time to be here, I think.
Wow. That was hard to follow. Devin hit the
Sorry.
nail on the head. So, hey guys, I'm Nathan Sibley, CEO of Harbor Point Industries. We are general contractors. We do residential, commercial. Shout out real quick. We got Sal and David over here. I see Wyatt back there, just some people I've been making deals with. I see Carolyn somewhere. She sent me a client that now I got to build a cabin for. So I've been a general contractor now for about 5 years. A couple different construction companies. Do a lot of estimating. To Devin's point here, you know, the general idea here is to give you the tools to go forward and make an educated guess, essentially, and then consult with experts. And last year I was here for this exact thing, and looking at the numbers, it was coming in low. You know, and setting that expectation going into a deal is huge. If you're, you know, estimating cost at 15, to Cory's point earlier, and the roof has fallen in, and you're looking at 45 to 55, that's a big, big difference. That 30% that you're setting aside on that 70 is gone.
So Robert had a question, and,
Oh, yeah.
and Nathan and I had this conversation before. So can you talk about, before we jump in, I think this is pretty good, about checking on materials and the frequency and the speed at which they're changing? Because that, we'll get to one of the questions. Sorry, Jason asked that question about forecasting repairs. Robert wants to know about new construction versus renovation.
Great question. Recent active job site, commercial job. We've got doors going in, residential style doors. Quoted 1 year ago. Prices increased. I think, thank Justin, did the math for me before this, 27% increase. So that's on one item in an entire remodel. That is a shocking difference. So if you are getting estimates and you are not implementing or paying for those materials, you need to be aware that 30 days out, you should be double checking, triple checking. So that is a huge, great question, especially with new construction. I know it was mentioned earlier, talking about, you know, hey, we're looking at lead time here of a year, 6 months, 8 months. You need to be updating those quotes as you go. So if you don't have that experience, you definitely need to be talking to people. I don't know how many people in this room, let's ask, how many people in this room talk to suppliers on a daily basis or weekly basis even? We got 1, 2 maybe, suppliers. I mean, that is huge. So if you're not talking to suppliers on a daily basis, talking to electricians, talking to plumbers on pricing, these prices change rapidly. 4 years ago, prices completely different than today. So 27% in 1 year it was shocking to me, shocking to the client. It would be very shocking if I was the one paying for it also. So great questions.
And so just keep that in mind, is like, that is where my experience can be a detriment, right? Oh, I know this market. I've done this many times before. I can be overconfident because I have no idea that things are moving that fast. Anybody surprised to hear that materials are moving that fast? Just a couple?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's interesting.
Yeah,
Gonna look at some
that's
examples?
crazy.
You ready to
Yeah,
debate?
I'll take
So
it.
I want to set the stage here because Cory does all the work on these slides. I don't have to mess with the slides. It's great. Get a Cory. Get a Cory. Cory is the engine that drives all of this. Like, right? He is consistent. He shows up. He puts in the. Cory is compounding returns. I love swinging for home runs. So, and I found a home run when I partnered with Cory. Marry up. So we sat here and we talked about this because last year we came in here and there was a debate about the numbers. And then Cory was like, I hit those numbers. So everything you're showing are Cory's real numbers. So I thought about that. I was like, so what is the case here? Like, if we're hearing feedback, those numbers aren't possible, but I'm hearing Cory do it. I was like, could it be that Cory is obsessed with real estate and looks at real estate more than anyone I know? How many deals did you do last year? 45?
Yeah.
45 deals last year. How many houses did you look at last year?
Hundreds.
Yeah. Like,
Hundreds.
yeah,
I was in hundreds. Did I look at?
Yeah.
1,000. I mean, like.
Yeah. So I was like, and then, you know, obviously I was like, that could be why maybe we're going to see that. And so I thought about this is like, what we're really going to show you is have a conversation with some contractors, give you a framework so you have a way to estimate And then we're talking about self-performing. Like when you're in the deal, you've got the ability to put your thumb on the scale somewhere in there, right? Maybe whatever your specialty is the thing you should be doing in the deal. Maybe that's project managing, but maybe it's finding deals. Maybe it's providing the capital. So this is what you could do if you could self-perform. Here's a target you could aim for. If you want to talk to us, we'll show you how we do it. And then if you're not doing that, you should be estimating based off of contractor numbers. Does that make sense, yo? Is that fair? Let's look at some examples, Cory.
Yeah, let's dive into them. So rental grade, when we're talking about our 4 levels of renovation, this is going to be like level 1, right? Rental grade, fix what's broken, paint, carpet, flooring, minor repairs, white appliances, low cost tile, off the shelf Home Depot fixtures, range in there, cost estimates $15 to $25 a foot. It's basically I'm touching everything, but I'm not really moving walls. I'm not getting too wild with it. I'm mostly just throwing lipstick on a pig.
Nathan, you want to talk about why you don't like price per square foot?
Okay, so we're talking about remodels here, not new construct. These are all remodels. This microphone, you gotta hold it really close.
Yeah, you got to get right there.
So square foot pricing on remodels, terrifying to me. I never use them, I never do it. In this instance, we are talking about looking at thousands of homes. You're in real estate, you're looking at thousands of properties. You do not have time to do an estimate like I do an estimate. You do not have a week, weeks to have multiple people come out to job sites and look. You don't hardly have time to even call your contractor to look at every one of these. You surely don't. There's no way I'm going to look at 1,000 properties, 100 properties even. That's cutting it. I mean, I better be getting compensated handsomely. So price per square foot pricing, remodels for myself, for this audience, it's a good idea to have some kind of concept of number in your head of what this tier 1 is going to cost. Then we look at these other tiers. But having an idea of where this kind of starts at is a good idea. Should you go by square foot pricing necessarily? I would strongly advise against that. So Devin might have some input as well, as a matter of fact.
I tend to agree, actually. How many people here actually are very familiar with spreadsheets and Excel?
Oh, God.
Everybody, right? That's my best advice for you guys is build a spreadsheet. What goes into each aspect of that particular room, right? A bedroom's simple. You got door, you got trim, you got flooring, you have closets, you got shelves in the closet. You make that list per room. That's the fastest way you're gonna come about what you're really paying. My other recommendation to that too is, like he said, the price per square foot could vary. One kitchen could take your guys 3 weeks. Now that number's blown out of the, did you carry $4,000 a week in labor for 3 weeks worth of work in the kitchen? Because you found out that the subfloor was rotted out because no one turned the sink off for 4 months while you were waiting to do the deal? So those are the kind of things that become slippery slopes as you peel the onion back. Contractors like ourselves, we don't have x-ray vision. We're not Superman. So I actually don't even like to give quotes unless I do demo first. Usually I'll say, hey, $5,000, I'll come do the demo. And then we'll put you together with a quote. And that's if you already have the house. So now you guys are trying to find the deal before you own the house. It's a little different. You have to come up with numbers that you're comfortable with spending on these items. Like, well, I carry $10,000 per bathroom. Two bathrooms, $20,000. Kitchen, $15,000. Am I gonna have to do a roof? Let's carry another 15. Am I doing siding? You know, those are the kind of number, lump sum numbers you need to go after these deals. Otherwise, you don't have a shot. But I will say that after you do a couple, you will get your price per square foot. And I can tell you right now, I've done 10 this year, well, last year, and I'm falling somewhere between 55 to 65, depending on the finish.
But not for rental grades.
But for rental grades, his price could hold, actually. 15 to 25 could hold. And that's the same thing that he said, lipstick on a pig. It's, I'm throwing new paint on everything, keeping the trim on the wall. Maybe I do LVP, maybe I do rugs, and I'm getting the appliance off Facebook Marketplace.
And so what we're looking at is learn your contract. Your contract has contingencies. This is a guide to making offers. I'm sitting here, I'm doing math, I'm walking through this, and I'm closing an opportunity in the room, right? So I need to have a framework to offer on that, and I want to err on the $25 side, not talk myself into the fact that it's only going to be 15, right? Cool. So let's see an example. Cory.
Yeah, so here's going to be an example of it, right? This is a property I just did. I bought this property on October 11th. My goal was to be done by November 11th. I ended up finishing that actually on November 16th, which is about a 5-day variable, but I gave the previous owners a 5-day post-occupancy, so I didn't actually get to do anything for 5 days. So I do like to say, like,
So on a technicality, Corey hit his 30
on a
days.
technicality, I got my 30 days.
Technically.
yeah, right. But this is going to be an example of what we're talking about here. So this was a basement ranch home in Powell, about 2,400 square feet on about a half acre. You see, I bought the property here for $198,000. I spent $24,000 on the remodel, and we sold that at $310,000.
Get some interior photos?
Yeah, let's do it. So
right.
inside, right? I actually had really nice hardwood floors. They smoked in this house. There was a lot of stuff everywhere, but thank God they had those giant rugs everywhere because they had some big ass dogs. And but like the hardwoods were in good shape. It just really needed to be cleaned, right? Deep cleaned everything, cleared stuff out, painted. Bathroom, right? Main level bathroom, pulled out the vanity, ripped up the flooring, put in new tile, new toilet, resurfaced the tub. So many people love just go rip out that fiberglass insert and spend the extra money on the materials, the labor, the two guys are gonna have to fight that thing, getting it in and out. You could just resurface it. You call a company like Resurfacing Solutions is who I used. Costs $600. They'll come in there, they'll spray like a new enamel coat on it. Good as new. It was like an almondy yellowish color, $600. I got a brand new white fiberglass insert tub, right? Moving through, then in the kitchen, look at, I didn't even do anything in the kitchen. I painted it, and I changed a little bit of lighting, deep cleaned it, left it alone. Why? Because speed was my goal here. I was not trying to go rip out and replace a whole kitchen and spend all this extra time because I didn't really think it was going to move the needle all that much for me in the end of the day when I was looking at my comps.
Who pays for professional cleaning on their properties? It is the simplest thing that you can do. Psychologically, when people walk through a deep cleaned home, maybe you put some flowers on the front, it looks like that owner cared for it, right? When they walk through and the floors are dirty, but everything underneath is great, the plumbing, the electrical, the mechanicals, people pick it apart. They're buying off of safety and security.
Yeah.
Like, don't fumble the bag on the obvious stuff. People buy emotionally. If they didn't buy emotionally, look at expired listings. I come in, I write great copy, we take better photos, magically we sell the property because presentation matters.
Yeah, absolutely, right? So have something cleaned, have it staged. I'm a big believer in staging homes that we renovate.
Why do you stage homes, Cory? Anybody stage their properties? Who stages their, yeah?
Yes, very good. I'm proud of you.
Because when I stage a property, someone is buying a home.
Yeah.
When it's an empty box, then they're like, the husband's got to show off how competent he is, and he's picking apart the trim.
Yeah.
When the trim in his house looks even
100%.
worse.
Yeah.
I know that because we represent buyers and sellers, so you see how they pick apart the stuff while they're buying, and then you go to their property
house.
that they're selling, right? Because it's just presentation. Well, if I was going to sell my house, it wouldn't look like this. I would have cleaned it all up and presented it properly.
That's right.
Yeah.
Kurt had. So I use Dollhouse Staging. Shout out to Aaron Dahl as our stager. It's going to vary to a degree for. I usually have a multiple on my listing price, and that's what, like 0.5% was what I was on there. And it's going to that's going to vary. That is not a hard number, but like in essence, it was $300,000 like list price.
It's like $1,500.
Yeah, but it was more like that was about $2,000 to do it because it's a basement ranch, and you just say like I stage
And it
the
depends
whole
on the
thing.
amount of areas you stage. You
Yeah.
stage as well. Joey's got a.
The nice thing about Erin is depending on the timing of contracting her out, she'll allow her fee to be paid out of closing.
Yes.
Yeah, so Erin's fantastic. If you
Yeah.
have not met Erin is a longtime agent. Erin just doesn't want to deal with the public. She's amazing.
Yeah.
She is a much better agent. She's so warm and
So good.
personable and done it forever. I love Erin. She's got a great eye for this stuff.
But yeah, they're our
Yeah.
go-to like staging company. Very reasonably priced, good turnaround.
She'll send an invoice to your title company.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's awesome. It's awesome. So like the basement, right? The basement had LVP down throughout there. It was just kind of gross and sticky. So deep cleaned it.
I just want to comment. I like seeing the contractors nod their head
They're like, yeah,
on what Cory did and didn't do. Like this is how you
Right?
maximize value.
Left the upper cabinets. Why they were fine. They were fine. Do I care that the color is different? No, I don't. Did the buyer? No, really didn't. That is a 5-foot base cabinet right out of Home Depot that we painted. That is a 6-foot top wow, those don't line up. Yeah, I didn't want to cut it. I didn't want to deal with it. So what did I do? I just made 2 little shelves there off of the right-hand side with some scrap wood. Bada bing, bada boom, right? Speed. Painted, new boob lights in there.
Staging is your friend.
Scratch and dent appliances. They got a 90-day guarantee on them. We're out, right? Bedroom upstairs is just gross. Rip out all the carpet, paint it, change the fixtures, stage it, go. Landscaping, best dollar for dollar you could spend on a property.
If you check there's some databases that have renovation projects for renovators, and they're amazing. They're broken down by sections of the country, and then they're broken down by regions. Like your return on a kitchen is like 60%. Your return on landscaping is 100%.
Yeah, it's a massive multiple.
It is again, if you're not cleaning and landscaping, you're
leaving money on the
table.
A bag of mulch is $3, but like, what's the visual impact that it has when you have like some landscaping, a new flower bed with fresh mulch and some flowers, right? Like the cost of that is pretty minimal. But like the visual
there's a reason
impact
why we feed you
huge.
public subs and not Food City stuff, guys. Yeah.
That's right,
First
dude.
impressions,
We're
Duke.
telling a story right from the curb out. So even in this, like I did landscaping, ripped out those banana trees, cut some stuff back, and really the outside here was pressure wash, and then that addition on the right side that was a garage it got finished in. It had just like a wood siding wrapped around it. I just grabbed some vinyl siding and just wrapped that part with new vinyl siding, and it's good to go.
What do you guys think about the numbers there? It cost him 24 grand. Is it an achievable to hit all this? Did he crush it with like subs?
Absolutely, for sure.
Yeah.
Question. Time investment of your time.
Good question. So I really worked to keep less than 40 hours of my actual time over there. So now I did do some, I got guys in the room that came over there and helped me throw stuff out. That room, it's not pictured here, but that like addition that's there, that had, 15 pallets of
Is
stuff.
this the house you're paying Garrett?
Yeah, I brought like all kinds of people like through that
Garrett's
to help
on
me
our
out.
team.
But no, like they were running a business where you could buy like return pallets from Amazon and Walmart, and you get like boxes of just random stuff, and then they were trying to like sell that stuff on eBay. So they just obviously left a lot of that stuff behind. So like anybody need an air mattress? I've got like 20, right? There was just stuff. So it was a lot of just clean out and clutter and stuff to go through that just took time. That was a majority of the time, honestly, was just like throwing stuff out. But I spent less than 40 hours of my actual time messing with that.
Great question.
Correct.
Yeah.
Over the entire 30 days.
So rip through the next one.
For sure.
Simple rehab.
Simple
right?
rehab. Yeah. So replace all the fixtures in their existing locations. New kitchen, new bathrooms, paint, flooring, switches, plates, interior paint, entry grade flooring, granite, 35 to 50 a square foot. This and the next one is where most projects fall into play. And I have a little bit of extra in there for, maybe I got to patch the roof, maybe we got to
Let's see the
put like
pictures.
clean something up a little bit, right? Simple rehab is our framework.
Let's show some photos here, and we'll get.
Yeah, for sure.
Nathan
So this
here.
is one I'm working on right now, actually. This is a property I bought up in Halls. I just bought it. I was trying to do this in 30 days, but we didn't quite make that. Windows killed me on making that 30-day. If I didn't change the windows, I would have been done with this in like 2 weeks, right? But Windows right now is like a month. So you do need to forecast. That is part of your forecasting. How long is this going to take, and when do you order your things? And
Can I tell you all the one secret to all of this? You make your money when you buy this. Cory bought it for $180,000.
Yeah.
I'm going to repeat. You make your money when you buy this. If you don't buy it right, no contractor is going to save your ass. Like if I don't understand repair value and I don't do it right, none of this is going to matter. Anybody remember when we talked about the house in Mechanicsville Cory had? We went double the budget.
oh, it's coming up.
Yeah. But Cory got saved because he picked it up for
Yeah.
$185.
Yeah, I bought it for a good deal.
He bought it with enough of a safety net.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, and so this project, for example, like I've got, $50,000 budget on here. We'll do like a quick walkthrough on it. This one just was, the reason why this is because I put all new outside stuff. This is a new roof, this is new windows, this is new gutters, this is siding. This is a lot of just the outside of this was pretty ugly. But the inside of it actually is pretty clean. So we'll actually kind of go, this is my scope of work for it. So clean. So I've got what I forecasted versus what I actually paid there in the purple is my actual paid versus like what I forecasted on that,
Gotcha.
right?
And I'm just gonna, while they look at that, we'll have a conversation here. Corey is really good at estimating because do you have like a spreadsheet like Devin has where you're actually like line
Yes.
iteming this stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to.
So I've got that framework
And
that I've worked
then,
backwards
yes.
on to do my estimation, and then I've got this, where I'm pretty clear on what I've got, like, right? But I still went like 1,000 over on the roof.
Yeah,
Yeah, like, so this stuff could add up if I did that multiple places here.
for sure. Yeah, if you got multiple projects going on, or you really miss out on one thing, it can really influence it
Yep.
a bit in there, right? But resurfacing the tubs, because I did 2, he cut me a little bit of a deal, so it was $1,100 instead of 12.
Sure.
Right.
Let's see some pictures.
Yeah, we'll do a quick like walkthrough of this thing. Is how this video is set up.
Outside the property on Northgate. It is Saturday, February 22nd.
Sorry, a little burp there.
We got the siding is started going on. We're still waiting on the windows. They should be here within a week. We got the outside kind of going on. Guys are they're out to lunch, coming back to finish this up. Let's go inside. Walk in. Painting is well underway. We're just going to be about done, ready to start putting some of this stuff back together again.
So replace the back door. Cabinets are great. Granite countertops and stainless appliances were already in there. So let's go. Just got to paint them cabinets, not ripping them out.
Did you paint the interior?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so saving that vanity base, just changing the top. New toilet. Resurface the tub. I'll put a new vanity top on there. I don't know if I go upstairs in this or not. I might. Oh, sorry. Well, you get it. Surface level inside, big stuff outside is what I
Let's
did
go
on
back
that.
to-
Sorry.
No, let's go back to, right? So we're looking at this.
Yes, yeah.
35 to 50 a square foot. How many square feet was this?
Like
This was- we're doing
1,300.
some math.
Yeah.
1,300.
Yeah.
Like, so high. Did you estimate the high end there?
No.
No, I estimated on the lower to mid end of that.
Yep.
Because I had some stuff on the inside. Like, I knew there was going to be the big budget stuff, right? The roof, the siding, the windows. That alone, like, good chunk of cash just between those alone, right? The roof, I thought 8. It was 9.
What's the total there?
It adds up. It's right in that range. There's some miscellaneous stuff that's going to come into there, but like I'm going to come in. I'm going to come in at
50? Or are you going to be
No,
like
I'm going to come in
55?
at 50.
So you're at 50.
I'm going to be at that. I may have a variable of like $2,000, like on
Yeah.
this.
So what would a
'cause I'll float an
contractor
extra
charge to
unit.
do this? Let's.
So we're close. We're close. We're better than last year. I'm going to say that up front.
Thanks, man.
Better. You've done good work. So we look at these numbers, right? I'm looking at replacing 2 vanities, replacing 2 toilets. Cory probably has in-house guys that can handle this. When I'm paying for this, I have a plumber, a licensed plumber that's coming out. He's going to replace those fixtures. I'm not doing that work. Plus, you've got a markup on the contractor. But even doing the math, I think we're doing the math up here at the table here. Your math's pretty close. It's pretty close. There's a few things in here that are going to cost more if you do them what I would consider, the right way. If you're paying a contractor, you're doing things the right way. You want things done to a certain standard. So with some of this stuff, you're going to run into overs, vanities, toilets, anything that's like the painting might be higher as well.
Yeah.
Those are some of the things that you need to be thinking about in your head. Like, hey, do I have an in-house painter, or am I paying a professional painter to come in here? Because the prep work and all that,
Oh, yeah.
it adds up quick.
No, big time. And
Yeah.
and I will say that too, like the toilets, for example, like $250. How did I do that? There was actually 2 toilets in the box, like at the house. Like they were going to be doing some work on it and really just were in a bad spot. So I picked it up. We're cool. Like I had some extra bonus materials. I had 2 brand new toilets in the box. I'm really just paying to have them like set and hooked up and done. So I had 400 fixed, like projected in there. Surprise, surprise, I've got 2 brand new toilets in the box. So yay for me, right? The vanity situation, kind of similar. Upstairs vanity, really gross. Rip it out, trash. The downstairs one in that primary bathroom, the top was outdated. I can switch out a top for a couple $100. I can paint the cabinet and throw in some hardware, and it's going to be quicker and pretty much cheaper than if I go put in a new 42-inch base cabinet and top and vanity. I can save a couple $100 by doing that versus putting in a brand new one.
So if you're self-performing, Corey, think you got it done for 50 with a lot of some tailwinds in his favor, right?
Experience, too.
We also have contractors that we send enough business to that we can get prices that you might not get. What would it cost that same thing? 57 a foot, 60 a foot?
Yeah. So actually, just so I know I'm talking to the right target audience, how many people are trying to do their flips by themselves as much as possible? It's not.
Depends on the flip for me. Yeah.
Now,
this
what
kind of
about
stuff,
the
yes.
people that are looking to be their own micromanager with subs?
We got one.
Couple, two, Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah, raise your hand. Show it off, please.
Yeah,
Like,
I
other
gotta
people see
know,
it.
so I'm not
Yeah.
giving you guys
Put your hands up. Don't be.
information you don't wanna know.
Yeah. Who's
Two, three.
who's project managing your own deal?
I mean, it's a commitment.
Scheduling your own subs, buying your own materials, staying up till late, making orders, all that stuff. All right.
Yeah, we got a
And
Good
then
handful.
what about the ones that are just wanting to say, hey, I got a pile of money, I want a GC to run it, I don't want to hear about it, just tell me when you need a draw. All right.
More often than that.
That's what I thought.
Cool.
So for the last group of people like us with our services, Nathan says that he subs some stuff. I self-perform everything. I have a heavy mechanical background from Manhattan, so I do anything that's got air, water, electric going through it, I take care of it. So I save my number on the premium. But build design engineer is what BDE stands for, so I do a lot of work into my design work, and there's a reason for that. Depending on what kind of scope of work you guys are actually going after, I'll tell you right now, my first flip, I got hurt because it stayed on the market too long. So sometimes it pays to be the nicest house on the block, especially in the Cherry area, Magnolia area. Lay Avenue was a block that everyone's changing. You can probably walk down that block. There's probably about 11 houses for sale. I was the 7th house that started construction. I sold in 10 days. There's still a house there that hasn't sold yet in 2 years. So there's a difference in paying a little bit of extra. So I would have been at 59 for that house that he just showed us. Well, I would have been at 57 a square. It would have totaled out to be $74,000. Now, you bought at 180, you said, right?
That's right.
So would you rather, as a GC side of it, would you rather buy for 180, spend 75, and still make 40, 50, never lift a finger? Or would you rather be hands-on, all your time's devoted? So that's the kind of investor you have to decide what you want to be, and that's what dictates what price per square foot you're actually going to spend.
Yeah, and your max allowable offer to that degree,
Exactly.
right? Like if you're wanting to hire it out, you got to buy it deeper than
Yeah.
if you're willing to put some sweat equity, whatever you want that to be, right? I don't mind doing some clean outs and things like that.
Exactly,
But I hire almost everything else out from there.
So I'm gonna speed run some of these.
For sure.
Right? So we've got a basic remodel, right? So is everything in a simple rehab? And the most important thing you can walk away from this is learning the language of, we're gonna send this out to you. What are these 4 levels? So you're speaking a common language with your contractor or with your end buyer or someone else that you're trying to get advice from. Like, right, if you're calling us over the phone.
Yeah, that's right.
So what's in a basic remodel? Everything in the simple remodel.
Everything before, plus now we are replacing all the interior doors, windows, trim. We are maybe moving a wall to combine some space. We are updating some plumbing or electrical in there. We're reconfiguring some kitchens or bathrooms. I'm throwing on an added markup in there again, like maybe I do have to replace the roof or the HVAC in this situation. So this level adds value by enhancing the existing layout. We're not like adding to it as like an addition, but we are enhancing what's there.
And so what I want you to keep in mind when we're looking at this, like again, hitting these numbers on that last example, right? We're looking at this one right here.
Yeah.
We spent $2,000 on staging, so we didn't have to go buy another freaking cabinet. Does that make sense? Like we know where to move the needle. And so keep that in mind, is like we know how to sell houses. That's like a superior advantage. Like all we do is sell houses. That's where we put our thumb on the scale.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
And
So
I would say most deals, most stuff is going to fall usually in this range, maybe a little bit of the one before. We rarely find the stuff that's that kind of like rental grade stuff. Although I will say, both of these examples that I've just shared came out of this room. everything in that came out of this room. The deal came out of the room, the money, the contractors, every bit of that came out of this room. It's all through this
For the
network.
record, Cory does in fact get high on his own supply because he never listened to the 10 Crack Commandments.
That's magic eight
So like
So-
it's yeah, I just definitely wanted to like plug that. Like it's all in this room
55
literally.
to 70 a foot.
Yeah.
Okay, now actually, and why is contractor math different? Because the contractor has to earn a living, the contractor carries insurance, right? So there's another layer on top of those subs, and the contractor is warranting and insuring that work. I'm gonna tell you a story very, very quickly is, if you go hire a sub, I had this happen. I was a roofer and I thought I could start doing some roof jobs on the side because it seems fairly straightforward, right? And then I had an issue with a roof where they needed, like it wasn't done correctly. And then I had to self-warranty it, but I didn't have an extra $3,000 in my pocket that month when they called me. Does that make sense? I just was like, oh, I had to scramble to back my work up because those guys that you're working with that aren't charging 20% in overhead and profit. And then I was like, oh my God, I wasn't overcharging. My boss just strokes checks whenever there's an issue because he can back it up. I undercut it because I don't need to make that overhead and profit. He's being greedy. I was not charging enough to stand behind my work and warranty my work. So when you're working with the guy with the truck, if there's an issue, he could be the greatest guy possible. Does he have the means to go back up his work?
Yeah.
Like he might not be able to back that up. Does that make sense?
Don't pay twice.
I worked another guy, hired a guy, he was a sub, I'd used him before. I'm gonna do this job on the side for my buddy. This one's gonna be safe. We're over in West Knoxville. There's this crash, I'm on the back checking out the roof. The bot has like transmission on his truck fell out. It went down the hill fully loaded. It took out a mailbox. The guy driving it was illegal and he didn't have insurance on that truck. I am a great salesman. I got out of that one. But that was like, right, I fixed it. But that was, again, like stuff can go sideways and you don't recognize the benefit of liability until you are in liability and now you're taking losses and that goes right to your capital and you're screwing your compound returns. So 55 to 70, what do you think, Devin?
Yeah, I think 55 to 70 is your safe number, even on the high end, because you could always find money. That's what you guys got to remember. You'd rather be, hey, I want to have 70 per square foot, so when I borrow from a lender, something pops up, I have the money to do so. I'm not trying to figure out how do I finish this house now because I'm out of money. Would you agree?
Yeah. There's on Cory's previous example, the very first one. I think
Sure.
you had about a 4% buffer that you had put in there. I typically put a 10% buffer. When you're dealing with a major project and you got a 10% buffer, that could be $100,000. So I mean, for myself, that's the contractor. That's the safe play. So when I'm talking to a client on the front end, before they even purchase this land, when they're going to get the loan, I'm looking at how much money do they need to hold back for unforeseens, because I'm not perfect. We don't have X-ray vision. So you go to open, and I just want to make sure we mention that we are holding money back and we do have all the insurance. So that's a great point.
And one of the things that Nathan and I talked about, he said, when I send my guy out and there is an issue and we uncover it, like my guys will not let me not fix it.
Oh, yeah.
So if I go to replace the door and really we need to replace the entire jam, like the guys that I hire because of the work that we do, because Nathan's gonna be like doing higher end cabins, like they're not gonna just be okay with just like doing handyman level work. Does that make sense? I gotta like pick the right person for the right project. Like in the work they're willing to do. Last one, best one, major
Last one,
remodel.
big one, right? So the major remodel. This is essentially, these are your full guts. We're taking this thing to the studs and back. This is definitely $80 plus. You could really use $100 a foot as a metric at that level. This is everything in the basic remodel, plus we're replacing the roof, the HVAC. We're completely replacing your plumbing, your electrical. We're adding space. This adds an element to the property that does not already currently exist and usually involves significant framing and structural work. I have an example.
So we are getting into design.
Yeah,
You're getting
design.
into like, can I reimagine how to use space? That's when we got some designers in the room right now.
Yes.
That is when, right, we take a split level and we transform it. That's the HGTV, right?
LVLs.
Yeah. So this is my major remodel example. This is one that we joke about a lot. I've learned a lot with this house. This one, I bought for right $175,000. spent about 120 into it. I thought that was going to be 50. Okay, I thought that was going to be, oh, easy. We're just going to take out the drop ceiling. We're going to paint. We're going to clean up these floors.
I'll tell you the optimist. I love it. Corey looks on the bright side. He's like, look, I can only see a couple of these piers.
Yeah.
Well, there's probably only termite damage in these 2 piers I can see. There's no way there's termite damage in every single joist of this historic home.
Yeah, I thought, it's going to be like 2, 3 floor joists. Now it's like 14.
They got their fill.
It was like 14.
They moved on to the next
right?
one.
And I had to reframe the kitchen. Like, that's what it looked like before. So you could easily see, like, oh, like, okay, we're going to paint these cabinets. We're going to switch out that top.
The work's halfway done.
Easy. Right? And then you start tearing it apart, and you're like, oh, man, all these walls, 2x4s, are just powder. You can just go crush them in your hand because the termites have just eaten their way through it, right?
I used to really love historic homes.
Here's my hallway. This was This was such a labor of love, that hallway, because look at that floor joist there in the middle on the right.
Yeah.
It's just gnawed away, right? And the only way to access that is by taking up that floor. And that's beautiful heart pine floor that's 100-something years old. That was the craziest game of operation I've ever played in my life. To salvage that and take that out piece by piece. I lost like 6 pieces in doing that. That took a long time. And thankfully there was some extra laying around. I was able to weave back in and go back over. Like, those floors still look beautiful, like beautiful caramel color. But like, right? Because you could look at it and be like, oh yeah, totally cool. We'll just pull that drop ceiling out. We'll paint this, keep it rolling. Nah. Had to take out all that flooring, like all the way through the middle of that house, just to be able to change out beams. Here's my upstairs attic. That's now like a little bedroom for somebody up there. That's where I found some of that extra hardwood, was upstairs, that I was able to borrow from there, go put it downstairs because it was the original wood, refinished it all matched, and then I just replaced upstairs with new and painted it black. Because you're not really going to care about the upstairs. But if that would look ugly in the middle of the house, you'd really not be cool about that.
Double the budget.
Yeah, totally double the budget.
Double the framework.
Bathrooms, completely down to the dirt.
Yep.
In that bathroom, actually in that back right corner, is the old outhouse pit. Because the house used to stop at a certain point. So it's about like 10 paces out from the back door, as it would be in 1900 or so. And so then I had to go back and fill that. Because you better believe that the city's not
under that carpet was a trap door.
Yeah, under that. Yeah. But in that back corner there was just a little brick-lined kind of well, and the city's not going to let you just leave that thing open now that you've got all this. So then go back and fill that, cover that over, new concrete piers, tons of new framing throughout that one.
You mentioned something really quickly there. The city's not going to allow you to do it.
That's right.
I know I've got some other friends in this room that have dealt with the city, the great city of Oak Ridge, not allowing you to do something. Once you start having inspections on this thing, that's a great point to bring up. Permits, inspections.
Yep.
Are you going to be there for them? Do you have your guys that are available to be there for them? Have you already pulled permits? Are you going to retroactively pull permits? That is not where you want to end up. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that not being able to cover that was a difficult.
Yeah, it was tough, right? Because like I used a private money loan, and I borrowed the money for the rehab, but I borrowed the only $230 in that. So like, where did I get the extra 60 grand that was needed to go finish that out?
Corey, that's why you have to have a cash machine.
Yes.
If you don't have a cash machine, right? We run a business, and Corey got busy. This is why Corey works so much. He had to go make a lot of money and then dump it all into this house.
I had to go hustle an extra 60 grand just to throw it in that house, just to keep the project moving, because I was out of money, right? Just stuck. And those private money draws are going to come, like, or those payments are going to be hit like the first week of the month. Like, so I've got to just hustle my way out of that. And in that, as you look at the numbers, like, it only appraised at 330. So I was all in at like 290. And so when I went to refinance that out, what'd that mean? I had to leave money in that. That 50, 60 grand that I hustled, still there. Still there.
Payback.
Yeah. So now I pivoted. I rented out to students. And so the note on that was $2,300 to $2,400 a month when I refinanced that. And I was getting $3,250 a month of renting that by the room to students at UT, because this property is right near campus. They just re-upped their lease now to $35.50 a month, and it reappraised this last year. So I refinanced it again. It appraised at $400, so it went up $70,000 in that year. On that refinance, I was able to pull out $25,000, $30,000. Like, I've still got money in that house, right? It will pay me back like over time. And I don't ever really intend on selling it, but like, that's a good example of like it really can go sideways, and that one really had me on pins and needles for 6 months. It was 11 months that project took to complete from start to finish, and I thought it would be.
Can you touch on
4.
how to avoid it?
Come up here.
How to avoid that is what would be pertinent.
So.
Still got it.
All right.
That's the one.
Who else has a question before we get out of here? Line up. We're going to try it afterwards, Eric. Kurt, what's your question?
What do you target as a net for your flips?
Yeah, man, I aim for pre-tax, or are we talking like after tax, everything like that? Because I'm going to pay capital gains on that. 50 grand is a nice like sweet spot. 40, 50 grand is cool, because then after tax it's going to be 30, 35, like take home. But I look for quick stuff, right? I look for something I can. We talked about velocity, like with money.
Look for those deals.
Nah, not really. It's like I've got one going. I've got another one right now in that neighborhood that I took on. That's gonna. Now I know, right? And I budgeted. That's a little 800 square foot like shotgun, and I budgeted 90,000 because I'm gonna have to go back and undo a bunch of other stuff and go back. Like I'm telling you, that one taught me so much that now at least with my new historic remodel is, I at least have a better understanding than when I first went into that, so I budgeted accordingly.
Second question.
But normally I do like the quick ones.
Okay, the other one is staging. Do you have her, Erin, for instance, just do everything for you, or do you get involved? How involved?
Good. Are you talking about like selections, like for design, or are you talking about the staging element? That's a good thing.
Can I answer this one?
Sure.
So Cory and I did a flip together. I brought Cory in on this flip that we did. We worked on it for one day. Right? But we worked on it, we mean like I like ADD'd around and Cory was there trying to mess with the dishwasher. Okay? In 6 hours, Cory got so frustrated he said you could have the entire project. Why get 10%? No, let her do everything. Like if you're gonna hire a professional, let the professional just do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I can
No.
expand on that and say I've never met her. She staged my flip.
Yeah. But I just no, I wouldn't.
Box code staged it, and I still haven't met her.
Yeah, I just don't. I've been doing this so long. Like I was like, no, I don't want to do anything over there because like self-performing just makes no sense because I have the ability to go earn income other places, and I'm constantly being reminded. The more I try to be frugal, of like, oh, why did I drive for 2 days? I should have just got on the phone for 6 hours and then flown. That was stupid. But that's just you learn these things. Yeah. Anybody else got a question? Jason, come on up here.
Just add on real quick to what he
I
asked.
can't hear you from over there, man. Without the mic, it's crazy.
I hate these things. Just like adding a little bit more
Sure.
to when you talked about the 50, you're talking about velocity. So like,
Yeah.
what are we looking at? Like 90 days. So how many a year?
Yeah, cool. I mean, good question. So like I'm typically looking for something I can, from start to finish, meaning like finished is like on the market, 45 days
All right,
is like what I'm
Superman.
aiming for.
What about Clark? What should Clark Kent be looking
Yeah,
for?
realistically, I mean,
Like Cory had a bone to pick. He's I'm gonna do this in 30 days just to prove it's
just
possible.
to know, just to show it can be done. No, but I mean, realistically, you should be 3, 4 months, 5 months. If this is your first time, like going through some stuff like that, even for not for like this major remodel.
Nathan,
that is a year
3, 4
project.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm on 8 to 12.
For this,
8 to 12.
Well,
depends on the project.
for this was a nightmare, so
Yeah.
that's different. That's
Yeah.
peeling back an onion and learning every as you
But
go.
for like a simple, let's say that simple rehab,
3 to 4. 3 to 4 is fine.
Yeah, 3 to 4 is
3 to 4
fine.
is fine.
3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
You want to be
Yeah,
conservative.
yeah, exactly. 3, 4
You wanna
months.
be
If you do 3 or 4 a
conservative.
year.
And then the challenge about 5 is do I have the deal flow? Come on up here for real fast. We'd love to have you there. Come on up, Robert. I know. Come on. Right up here. This is the question answer.
Questioning.
So let's say, for me personally, right, I'm more of a buy and hold, maybe refurbished kind of guy,
Sure.
right? So looking here in Knoxville,
Yeah.
what would be your ideal, like, kind of buy box situation where you just like, look at this, like I said, something in this area, you're just like, I'm doing this.
So That's a good question in terms of like just identifying buy boxes and like knowing what you, if the game is buy and hold, which is actually what I play. Like the fix and flip is just something to do to a degree. Like it's extra cash, but like I like throwing a lot of extra stuff at my plate.
Likewise.
Yeah, so like my buy and hold buy box typically is in the same zip code. Like I like 37921. I'll look at anything in 37921 as a buy and hold, because that's going to take me from down here in historic Mechanicsville all the way out down Western Avenue / Oak Ridge Highway out essentially into Carnes. Like so that whole corridor for me is awesome because I've got a good mix of housing stock. I've got some older stuff like this that I can rent out to students down by UT, or as I go further out and you say get on the other side of that 640 Beltway, now you're hitting mid-century, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s homes that make for great long-term rentals. There's a Target out that way. I'm a big fan of like looking at anything within a couple miles of a Target. You can use that kind of stuff to find your buy box pretty easy. Is like look for some of the other major like retailers and like where are they? Yeah, like Target, for example, right? Like Target, Publix. These big groups do their demographic and market research
There we go.
before they ever go put something
There we go, right?
Buc-ee's.
Yep, Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
Where's the REI in town?
Crossville's
Right, it's in Bearden.
Where's the
It's in the
manufacturing
highest rent
plant?
district.
They got
But I
it
think,
for
like,
Amazon.
honestly,
Amazon.
in Knoxville, I'm gonna ask y'all, if I threw a dart, would you live anywhere between 640 and Farragut in West Knoxville?
Yes.
Yes.
Some of you are saying no. I would.
Yeah.
I would. I live lots of places. I sell lots of houses. It's totally safe. It's totally fine. You might cosmetically not like it. There's great people. You can live anywhere in that entire section. Like where there's not like, oh my God, I stumbled into the terrible West Knoxville neighborhood. you know, North Knoxville, South Knoxville. Like you know where you shouldn't buy? Where you visually look around and you're like, this looks like shit.
Yeah.
You know, like if it looks cool and the neighbors are taking care of their property, do you wish you could go back in time when I lived on Wilson, when I moved back here in 2019, and buy a house in East Knoxville for $30,000?
Yeah.
I'm looking around, my neighbors are taking immaculate care of their property. The guy up the street's got a pool in the backyard. Really awesome. It's a really nice house. Got tons of pride of ownership. I would buy on that block all day long. Like that's I think in Knoxville, like me, I'm willing to buy and hold almost anywhere. I don't know what you, Cory. Is there someplace you're not willing to buy and hold? Well, you don't want to go like Talls, et cetera.
Yeah, if the numbers are right. I mean, I like north to northwest quarters. Like for me personally, that's kind of my sweet spot.
But it should be the thing that you're comfortable with
Yeah.
because, like, we like historic homes. If you don't like historic homes, you shouldn't buy historic homes because you're going to lose sleep over them, and there's no amount of money that's going to like make the fights you're having with your spouse worth it.
Truth.
Yeah. Who are you? What's your question?
Hi, my name's Susie. You didn't mention anything about garage doors, and they actually have the highest return of interest, normally over 100%. So I'm curious what you're doing about that. Plus, when you have a front one, you know, it's huge for the way that it looks. You know, you can really improve the way it looks and it's attractive.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair point. You're not wrong in terms of the cost for garage doors for. The door, the opener, probably the labor, $2,500, $3,000 combined in that.
A little less.
If you come to me, it can be less.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. Good to know because I'm
plug.
Yeah, that's a good plug for sure. No, because
Susie sells garage doors. This is how you do it. You ask a good question.
That's a good
plug
question.
yourself.
What about those garage
That's why
doors,
you get up
huh?
here.
Yeah.
All right.
Smart, Susie.
What about those
I want to
cabinets?
thank
Yeah.
everyone.
Let's see. Was there anything?
Can we get a big hand for Nathan and Devin? Yes, they will be here. We'll be up here answering questions. Thank you so much for having some patience. I forgot, honestly, how much of after repair value stuff. We didn't want to skip over that because if you don't understand the value, like the repairs aren't going to help you either.
Yeah.
Cory, how can they find us?
Yes, so you can certainly find us. I want to kind of hit a couple things really quick.
Please,
actually,
go
if that's
ahead.
all right. So if you want to check out like a flipping calculator, we give this away for free. You can either do a QR code and or just save yourself the thing. You can go to knoxvilleflipcalculator.com. Go into that. That'll give you that'll ping you for a download. That's literally the tool I use to estimate a lot of my repairs. If you're looking for some books or things to do, we certainly got one
Take a picture.
here.
These are some excellent examples
Real estate by the
for you.
numbers, estimating rehab costs. These are great. And then just our lineup coming up here. So next month is Show Me the Money. So where to find deals, how to become the bank, right? So if those of you who are either looking for private capital, like how do I go borrow private money, hard money, what does that look like? Or if you have money to lend, how should you be structuring that in a way where you can put your money out on the street and let it work for you?
Because we're taking on the life cycle of an investor, right? And on the life cycle of the investor, as I get more capital, I get more options, new levels open up to the game.
That's right.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for coming out.
That's right.
Can I throw in one more thing?
Joey's got
Please,
the last
Joey.
word. Yes, Joey.
I mentioned that we bought a primary. I did want to mention that Devin and I met at Grid, and he did the renovations on our house, and he did a great job. So
Yeah.
I highly recommend working with Devin.
Love
Thanks.
that, dude. Thank you.
Thanks for coming today.
Thanks, y'all.
If you're new, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, another thing. Oh, by the way, for all the new investors and the ones getting that are investors, I actually do partner up now with 3 cabinet lines. If you guys are looking just to buy them, we can install them for you as well. But if you just want to buy the boxes and mix up colors, we work with 3 wholesalers now.
Love that.
And because we always add value, if you want to talk policy, Nathan here was on the board for Advanced Knox. So if you want to know what's happening with the planning, the development, like he is a great resource.
I like that stuff.
Thanks,
man.
y'all.
I like it.